What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel where I make videos about success, productivity, and lifestyle. Now, you're probably watching this video because you're interested in learning how to land an internship, specifically your first internship in college or maybe even high school with no experience. I'm going to share with you what I did to land my offers my freshman year. I hope by sharing some tips with you, you'll be able to replicate the same results and land your first internship. Alright, so the first rule I followed when applying to internships is to literally apply everywhere. Most of the places I apply to range from smaller companies to medium-sized companies because that's where I assumed most of the job openings for freshmen would be. Also, for companies that aren't super big brand names, you might want to look in your local area because they probably won't pay for you to relocate. I probably applied to over 150 companies, but I only heard back from 5 to 10.
As you can see here, I made a spreadsheet of everywhere I applied my freshman year, as columns for the company name, the status of whether I got a referral or not, whether I applied, where I was in the interview process, as well as the offer decision. I highly recommend keeping track of your applications through a spreadsheet to stay organized.
At the end of the day, it really is a numbers game. Not only does it give you the experience applying to companies, you could actually hear back from one. I mean, in my case, I didn't really, but just remember, the more places you apply, the wider the net you cast, and the more likely you'll land an interview. Okay, great. So now that you've applied everywhere, the next tip I followed was to go to every career fair. This gave me a lot of opportunities. I went to 3 career fairs before I talked to a company that gave me an actual interview. Just some advice, get used to rejection. 95% of the recruiters I talked to said, "Oh, sorry, we don't hire freshmen," but you have to grow a thick skin and keep going and keep trucking along. It's going to be hard, but just going out there and talking to recruiters and gaining that experience is going to help you become more confident for when you do interview. Another related tip is to join organizations and clubs and go to their events. Many clubs and organizations will host speaker events or speaker series that invite alumni from that club to come back and speak about what they're doing now and their current job. Not only is this a great opportunity to learn about industries that you haven't been exposed to, it's also a good way to get your foot in the door. Usually, if you stay and talk to the speaker afterwards, you can give them a resume, talk to them about your interests, and they'll happily give you a referral.
In my case, I joined an entrepreneurship club my freshman year, and I attended one of the Coinbase speaker events. Afterwards, I went up and spoke to the speaker, and I gave him my resume. And then I asked him whether or not he had advice on how to land an interview. The same night, he sent me an email saying he had referred me, and I got an interview for the next week.
Now, once you've gone to career fairs and speaker events and talked to recruiters and alumni, the next thing you should consider is to have some interesting extracurriculars. I know this is easier said than done, but be active in searching either on or off campus for activities that could help build your resume. Whether it be emailing professors, asking about research opportunities, or developing an app on the side, recruiters love seeing things that are not just classes on your resume. It's also a good idea to do projects in any clubs or organizations that you're in. There are tons of organizations or clubs on campus that put together events, projects, and other initiatives that you can join as a freshman. These can be major talking points when asked about your experience. I'd also recommend doing things you actually enjoy because it's so much easier to connect what you're doing to why you're passionate about a certain field. After you have some meaningful extracurriculars or projects you can talk to people about, go out and network. A very effective way to do this is to ask for informational interviews. First, find someone in the industry that you're interested in. It could be an alumni or a mutual connection. Now you can use the following email template to request an interview. Dear John, I hope this email finds you well. I'm, insert name, a student at insert school studying insert major. I saw that you are an alumni and a insert role. I am interested in this field because of reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. I would love the opportunity to learn more about your journey and how you got where you are in your career. Would you be available in the next 2 weeks for a 15 to 30 minute phone call or coffee chat? Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. So when I did this, I sent out maybe 20 emails and I got 5 responses, which is not that bad.
This is one of the responses I received from an email I sent out regarding an informational interview. Most people are willing to help you out and answer questions, so don't be afraid to ask.
You want these meetings to be between 15 and 30 minutes long because you don't want to take up too much of their time, but you also want enough time to ask all of your questions. Some questions you can ask are, how do most people get into this field? What part of the job is most challenging? What kind of experiences do you think I should try to have to learn more about this field? And what was your experience breaking into this field? At the end of the call, you can say this to almost guarantee that you'll land a referral. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. As I mentioned during our call, I'm interested in the insert role at insert company. Specifically, the insert specific role, which I came across on your careers website. I'd love to get my foot in the door. How do I get an interview? Now, two scenarios can happen. In the first scenario, the person can say, I'll give you a referral. Or in the second scenario, they'll give you advice on how to actually get an interview. If the second scenario happens, say the following. Thank you, that's really helpful advice. Who would you suggest I contact for more information about this role? By doing this, you can repeat the cycle until you have someone actually give you a referral. And remember, after your call, always send a follow-up thank you message. Now, moving on to the fifth rule I use to land my first internship is to do some prepping on your own time. Whatever intro classes you're taking your freshman year are probably not enough to land you an internship. So now this is going to look different depending on whatever industry your internship is going to be in, but there are some similarities you can follow. First, figure out what the interview questions of your industry look like, and watch those lecture recordings. For example, since I was applying to software engineering internship roles, I watched the lectures pertaining to data structures and algorithms. Personally, even though some recruiters knew that I was a freshman, once I mentioned that I knew data structures, algorithms, and Big O, they were still interested in talking to me. Additionally, before you even get a chance to interview, study, study, study. Usually when companies reach out to interview, the turnaround time is super short, usually 2 days to 2 weeks. Remember, once you get the interview, the only thing standing between you and the internship is a few questions. Again, these are going to look different depending on what industry your internship is in. For consulting and business analyst roles, make sure you can solve case studies and market sizing questions.
Two books that I highly recommend are Case Interview Secrets by Victor Chang and Case in Point by Mark Cosentino.
For software engineering roles, make sure you know your data structures and algorithms.
I recommend reading the book Cracking the Coding Interview and working through practice problems on the website LeetCode.
I know there's a steep learning curve for any type of interview, but don't get discouraged. Keep studying and solving practice problems and you will get better. By the time you finish studying, you should be able to solve most easy questions and some medium questions in the industry of your choice. Remember, if you have no prior experience, interviewers probably aren't expecting much, but if you can deliver, all the better. Moving on, you need to learn how to talk about your resume. This is especially important for the behavioral interview. It's more important in some industries than in others, but behavioral interviews can make or break an interview. It also goes without saying that your resume needs to look nice and polished. Definitely get some upperclassmen to critique and edit your resume, and also take advantage of your Career Service Center. Most school career centers offer free resume reviews. Like, why would you not take advantage of those? Career Service Centers also offer mock interview prep, so you can make sure to nail your behavioral. Once you have your resume looking nice and professional, make sure you can go through it and answer any questions relating to it. It's important not to embellish your resume or have anything that's exaggerated or untrue because interviewers can dig very deep into anything on your resume and you need to be prepared for that. Anything you put on your resume is fair game. Additionally, really nail down your answers to the why this industry question as well as the why this company question.
I highly recommend Googling a list of the most common behavioral questions and then write out your answers to them. They don't need to be word for word, but at least have a few bullet points for each question.
Being able to speak confidently is a really underrated skill and is going to land you major brownie points with a recruiter. The recruiters know you have no experience, so they're going to expect you to be unconfident. By showing confidence, it's going to make them double take and take you more seriously if you can nail those questions. Now, I know I already said this, but you really need to keep your head up. I was rejected from over 100 companies. Most of them didn't even give me a response back. But don't let it get to you. Just keep applying and keep following these strategies and I promise that it'll work out. Even if you don't get an internship for the summer, you'll have plenty of experience for when sophomore fall recruiting starts. Now, if you're also interested in learning how to get a job or internship specifically during the pandemic and tips or tricks that could help you, I highly recommend this video right here where I talk about my experience in recruiting during the pandemic. I appreciate you watching and have a great day.